Hello everyone, welcome, thank you for joining us wherever you may be, and welcome to our latest Railbookers webinar, and this one is all about overnight rail journeys. And my name is Matt, and it's my pleasure to be here with you today. And just a brief recap of what we'll run through on our presentation. We'll look at some great holidays, all of which include a spectacular overnight train journey. We'll look at how these holidays can be customized to suit you. So a reminder before we start that you might want to spend extra nights in one destination, perhaps a little bit less time in another. All of those things are perfectly possible to make a holiday that includes everything that you want to do and nothing that you don't want. And we are the one-stop shop to provide all of the essential components to your rail holiday while taking all the complexity out of traveling by train. At any point while you're watching the webinar today, if you'd like to ask a question, you can click on the icon that you can see in the yellow box there at the bottom of the screen, and one of the team will be in touch shortly afterwards to hopefully provide you the answer to that very question. You've also got a range of links on the right-hand side that you can click on to direct you to our website, to order brochures and get other information too. Lots and lots of resources available for you, and also giving you the opportunity to contact us directly via this webinar if you so choose. So let's start the main part of the webinar and look at some of these great holidays featuring overnight train travel. And the first off is one closer to home. We sometimes forget that there are actually two overnight journeys that you can take within the UK. And this holiday features perhaps the most famous of them. This is our Grand Inverness and the Highlands holiday, and it travels via the Caledonian Sleeper. And here is the Caledonian Sleeper parked up and ready to go on a spectacular adventure. And for anyone who hasn't travelled overnight by train before at all, or perhaps if you're wondering what it's like on board the Caledonian Sleeper, then let's take a closer look. This is the typical type of accommodation that you can expect when travelling overnight by train. So we have two beds, one above the other one. This room type is called the Classic Room. Now, there are actually three different cabin types available on board the Caledonian Sleeper. There's this one. The next category up is called the Club Room, and the main difference there is twofold. Firstly, it contains a mini walk-in bathroom that has your shower, toilet, wash basin, everything that you need, and also it includes a complimentary breakfast in the cost of the ticket. And we'll take a look at where you can enjoy that in just a moment. But there is also a third category, and this one is pretty unique, really. I won't quite say as rare as hen's teeth, but pretty unique. It's called the Caledonian Double, and as the name suggests, it's comprised of a large double bed. And those of you who have travelled overnight by train before will, I'm sure, join me in confirming that you don't see this type of accommodation very often, if at all. So very, very special. Again, it includes the bathroom and the ensuite facilities, the breakfast, but it really is to having that extra space and comfort, that large double bed, that makes this so special. If you like the look of this type of accommodation, then I do need to let you know that there's only ever a maximum of 2 to 3 of these on any one train. So you really do need to get in early, particularly at busy times of the year like summer, for example, because they will sell out pretty quickly because demand really does outstrip supply. So very, very unique and special, but you can never be too early if you like the look of this. And let's face it, who wouldn't like the idea of traveling in comfort in a really nice, comfortable double bed and then waking up to some spectacular scenery in the Scottish Highlands the next day. This is the club car. This is where you can relax in the evening after boarding the train, perhaps enjoy a meal of haggis, tatties and neeps, or another Scottish speciality, or relax with a drink or a coffee. And also, if you have upgraded to either the club room or the Caledonian double, this is where you can enjoy your breakfast the following morning. And it's really worth doing that. I really recommend doing that rather than taking it in your cabin, because there's large windows, as you can just see here, and provide some great views out over that Highland countryside, particularly obviously if you're travelling in the northbound direction. And it's Inverness, which is our port of call on this particular holiday, the largest city in the Scottish Highlands, of course, and a spectacular location to explore some of the great natural beauty in this part of the world, such as, of course, Loch Ness. We include a trip out to have a tour around the loch itself and Glen Urquhart Castle, as you can see here. Can't guarantee you'll see Nessie, but you never know. And one of the other spectacular places that you visit on this particular holiday is a trip out to the Isle of Skye, and this is one of the most picturesque parts of the island. This is Eilean Castle. Eilean, there's a small tidal loch where various lochs converge, and it's just an absolutely beautiful setting, very tranquil, great photo opportunity, wonderful backdrop, and just one of many great views that you can enjoy over on the Isle of Skye. I think one of the nice things is the variety of different landscapes, from the coloured houses that you can see here by the harbour to the wide open spaces, natural beauty. It really does have a variety of different landscapes to enjoy. So on this particular holiday, you can start from wherever you're based in the UK, of course, but we do start the holiday here from London. And the reason for that is so that we can include, of course, that famous journey on the Caledonian Sleeper, and then travel up and spend 4 nights in Inverness. We include the sightseeing tour of Loch Ness and Glen Urquhart Castle on one day, as well as a full-day sightseeing tour to the Isle of Skye, including Eilean Castle on another as well. So plenty to enjoy, lots of great scenery, a fantastic overnight journey, and all on our doorstep as well. Now, next up, we've got something really special here. One of the most famous of all train journeys, the Venice Samplon Orient Express. And there's a number of different holidays we have featuring this particular iconic train. If you'd like to take a look at more, then via our website you can see lots of great combinations we have, including Venice. You might want to extend your holiday on to visit Rome, perhaps, or one of the Italian lakes, as we do here on this combination of Venice and Lake Como. And if you've always wanted to know what it's like on board this most iconic of trains, well, let's take a look and see. This is the lounge car, really one of the social hubs of the train, where people will gather during the day, and a great place to meet your fellow travelling companions, or just relax and soak in all the period furnishings and enjoy the scenery, of course, as well. Here we have a little snapshot of what life is like on board, from the outside view of the famous wagon lit to the cabin attendant, your steward, who will look after your every need whilst you're staying on board the train. A glimpse into the historic twin cabins too, and of course the dining, which is an essential part of the experience. All the ingredients freshly prepared and cooked on board the train. An absolutely wonderful gastronomic experience. Plenty of different meals included as well. You're very well fed throughout the entire trip, and incredible surroundings. And everyone really does dress up and enter into the spirit of the occasion. For dinner, the dress code is minimum jacket and tie for gentlemen, equivalent for ladies, but you'll see lots of people dressing up with black tie, evening dress, really entering into the spirit of things. And there's also, which is relatively new, the opportunity to upgrade to a grand suite, which you can see on the bottom right, which is even more opulent and stunning. If you really fancy travelling like a king or queen, then this is the way to do it. All of which are fully en suite as well. Incredible surroundings, free-flowing champagne, your own private butler to take care of everything while you're ensconced in the grand suite as well, and really the most opulent and luxurious way to enjoy this spectacular journey. And what a destination, of course, to arrive in once the journey is completed. Venice, really a destination like no other. Home, of course, to St. Mark's Square, and just a fantastic destination to arrive at by train as well, because once you exit Santa Lucia station, the Grand Canal opens up right in front of you, and you're instantly in the heart of the destination. You know that you've arrived, and I really can't think of anywhere I've been that really does give you that sensation. And this is, the best way to arrive as well, because you're right in the heart of things instantly, and it just makes it incredibly special. And then after spending time in Venice, then we go on to visit Lake Como, of course. Got the old town of Como, a perfect place to explore the lake from. I definitely recommend heading out on the water. There are numerous boats that crisscross the lake and connect all the various towns along the lakeside. Really does give you a sense of the real scale and size of the lake, as well as seeing different parts of scenery that you wouldn't be able to see otherwise, and perhaps having lunch or a stroll in one of the towns or across the other side of the lake shore. Absolutely beautiful destination and a great place to relax after spending time in Venice. So here we have a recap of the Venice Samplon Orient Express to Venice and Lake Como itinerary. Spending one night overnight on board the famous train before 3 nights in Venice, followed by 3 in Lake Como. We have a variety of different tours included there as well, including a guided tour of the Doge's Palace and Golden Basilica in Venice, as well as a walking tour of Como Old Town as well. Next up, it's time to head across the pond as we look at our Great American and Majestic Landscapes holiday, starting in New York, then traveling overnight on the Lakeshore Limited to Chicago, and then one of the most spectacular rail journeys, if not the most spectacular rail journey in the USA, traveling overnight on board the Zephyr to Denver, where you'll visit Rocky Mountain National Park, and then carrying on board the Zephyr overnight to San Francisco. And after spending time in New York, next up is Chicago, the Windy City, of course, famous for some absolutely stunning architecture, some examples of which you can see here. But the real highlight of the trip, I think, is, as I mentioned before, traveling overnight on the California Zephyr. And you do this in 2 parts. It's bookended either side of your stay in Denver. And no less an authority than the man in seat 61 rates this the most scenic train journey in the USA. And who are we to disagree with him? I think what makes it particularly nice is the variety of landscapes that you traverse through. And you get to see everything from Rocky Mountains, the Utah Plains, the Sierra Nevada. It really does change dramatically over the course of the journeys. And what's great is you see pretty much all of this as well by daylight as well. So all those landscapes that I mentioned, you'll see by day. And it really does give you a sense of travel, of movement, and traveling from place to place as you head from state to state, and really does make the journey part of the overall holiday. It's really, really spectacular. And as I mentioned, in the middle of that, you get to visit Denver, the Mile High City, and stop off at the beautiful landscape here of Rocky Mountain National Park. Absolutely stunning, and a really great complement to a spectacular train journey as well. And last but not least, the iconic bridge. We must be in San Francisco, where we finish up on the West Coast. And then what better way to relax after all the sightseeing and the train travel with a Napa Valley wine tour. And yes, tasting is definitely included, and there's the opportunity to bring home some souvenirs with you at the end of the trip if you'd like to do that as well. Now, on board the overnight journeys on board Amtrak, there's a number of different types of accommodation. The first is coach class, which, as you can see here, is large reclining seats, plenty of legroom. But we find that many people are looking for bedroom accommodation for the overnight journeys. And there's two different types. The first of which is a roomette, which you can see here. By day, it's your own private compartment with comfortable seating, and by night, they extend into beds, one above the other, as you can see here. And the third category is the bedroom itself. And the main difference here is it being slightly larger and featuring the ensuite bathroom from which this particular photograph was taken. So you have your own private shower, toilet, wash basin, and everything else that you need. And you'll also have the opportunity of enjoying the spectacular scenery from the onboard viewing areas, as you can see here. If you are travelling overnight in either a roomette or a bedroom, it's worth me pointing out that all of your meals on board the train are included throughout the trip. So as these are two longest journeys that you will be taking, you really do get that extra value as well, because all your meals and soft drinks, coffee are included in the cost of your ticket. So well worth keeping that in mind. And it really does become the social hubbub of the train, really. Here you'll meet lots of different people traveling for lots of different reasons, and it's a really fascinating way to enjoy your meal and relax as you head across those majestic American landscapes. So a reminder of what's included on this particular trip. We start off in New York City for a 2-night stay, overnight on board the Lakeshore Limited to the windy city of Chicago for a 2-night stay. And then we spend 1 night on board the California Zephyr. You can see the number of states that we cross through here, from Illinois into Iowa, Nebraska. And then 2 nights in Denver, time to visit Rocky Mountain National Park before you board the California Zephyr once again and head through Colorado, Utah, Nevada, and then finally arriving into San Francisco, California for a 2-night stay, including that all-important Napa Valley wine tour at the end. So this gives you just a taste of some of the great holidays that we have, including overnight rail travel, some great overnight journeys there. You can order some digital brochures if you'd like to have a look through these or other holidays that we feature. Variety of different brochures featuring, for example, our top-selling, most popular itineraries, or featured on particular destinations like Scotland, or particular experiences like luxury rail travel, for example. And you can order any or all of these by just clicking on the icon that you can see on the screen here at any time during the webinar. And a reminder, if you do or did have a question at any point during the webinar, feel free to submit that as well. Or you can get in touch with us via the railbookers.co.uk website, or give us a call. You can see the number at the bottom of the screen, and our opening hours Monday to Friday 9 to 5:30 as well. Thanks very much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the webinar and have a great rest of your day.